Well, Crystal, you know what I'm also saying is that sometimes the literature, though, about trauma, betrayal, therapies, it is not. I don't know. It leaves me feeling dark and depressed and discouraged. Do you see some of that literature? You speak in a very different tone, where it gives a lot of hope. Do you know what I'm saying? Do you see some of that literature?
It does. And I think it's a combination of both, Liz. I think it is devastating, it is overwhelming. And of course, when the betrayer doesn't do the work to, establish boundaries, earn trust back. So, probably a lot of that dark that's out there. But yes, I want to bring hope. You can heal. You can heal and move forward, both of you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for that message.
Yeah, that's great.
Absolutely. Actually, the last phase in my model is grief. And you have lost so much, so much, and there's so much you can't get back. You lost who you thought you were. You lost your life as you knew it, your relationship as you knew it. Again, you've lost finances. You've lost your sense of self. You've lost community sometimes. Your faith is impacted. There's every aspect of who you are. There's so much loss associated with betrayal, trauma, anger. And, you're going to grieve and it stays with you. There's just so many things that can't be recovered that you have to grieve the loss of and move forward. I have a lot of clients who they were virgins when they got married and they believed that their partner was a virgin as well. And, you lose that then. You lose once you find out the secrets, you lose that specialness of what you thought you had. You lose, the person that you trusted. It just twists you all up and you question your intuition. So you just every part of your life, you're experiencing loss. So you're absolutely right. Grief is a very significant part of healing.
Wow, that's pretty deep. Thanks for sharing that. You also mentioned too, like sometimes children are the ones who discover the betrayal. How that's, I mean, I know it's devastating for a partner, but for a child, do you counsel children, or is there any words of advice you have for that, or experiences, or?
I only see adults, but I will give my clients advice on how to talk to their children. And of course, I always recommend that when the children are involved, that they need to see their own therapist to be able to talk through what's happened. And I'll help the parents to be able to talk with them as well. Sometimes I'll do some family counseling around that. But I will tell you, as far as anger goes, it's one of the things that make people the most angry, because most people want to protect their children from anything like this. And when that child has been brought into this adult situation, I mean, I don't know much else that, can make you angry except when your children are harmed in some way. So that is a real source for anger for people.
Yeah, I just sort of have to imagine how devastating that would be for a child too,
Yes.
their world is just suddenly torn apart, and if they're the ones that are discovering it, how do they go about revealing that or dealing with it? It's an unbearable weight for a child.
Oh, it is. I mean, I've seen everything from a child walking in on their parent watching porn and masturbating to finding explicit text messages with their affair partner on electronics, to I've had people that have taken their children, the child's in the back seat while they go in and meet with their affair partner. Children have, whether it's accidentally or it's intentional, they need to work through it. They have all the same emotions as the partner who's betrayed. Children have been betrayed. And so, yes, they definitely need help, and the family's going to need help to address that. Most often, people will hide it from their children. If they're adult children, They will sit down and tell them once they're a little further in therapy. But when it's a minor child that finds out, it's just devastating.
Yeah, I would imagine there's some grief counseling there too. That's wow. Thanks for sharing that. That's just incredible.
The sexual relationship. That has to be, I don't know if one of the most areas of struggle, of anger, of working together. It just feels like, to me, even trying to imagine that after that betrayal, that's got to take, I don't know, months, years of trying to get that out of your mind, or even wanting to be close with that person, knowing what has happened. Sounds like you work through that. Is that the most intense, most difficult aspect of this?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's certainly one of them. And, betrayed partners will go from don't ever touch me again to having sex every day, multiple times a day, right? They'll go to, I want to go have an affair so you know what it feels like, to just being so devastated. But what we do is once we address the betrayal and we get to a place where there's some established trust, when we're doing the focus on building and maintaining a healthy marriage, that's when we focus on building and maintaining a healthy sex life. And so you absolutely can build a healthy sex life. Obviously, there's a lot of aspects to it. And I have to say, every client is an individual.
Yeah.
Yes, every one of them is harmed sexually. There's just so much there and so many aspects to it. It's definitely a significant part of the healing process.
Sarah, did you want to text me your question just in case?
You try
to
asking
one of our emails.
Yeah.
You can text me your question. I'll ask.
Can you hear me? Am I?
Yeah,
I can hear you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe I'll text it to you. I don't know, or I can give it one more time.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, you can.
Text
Yeah,
me because it just keeps. After you talk for about 10 seconds, then your internet doesn't want to comply anymore.
Yeah, I'll text it to you.
Okay. This has been a really fascinating topic to hear about the anger and the betrayal and how people deal with that. How did you get into this, Dr. Hollenbeck? Like, what led you into this field?
Well, many, many years ago, I've been married 35 years, but many years ago, I experienced betrayal, and there were no resources in the world that I lived in, and we're very involved in our faith community, and they just were not equipped or educated, and they didn't even promote counseling outside of the church. So I suffered greatly, and ended up later, though, we did, and got really good help and are just in such a great place now. And so, but that was my passion, as well as I started to see so many clients experiencing the same thing, which is why I want to get a resource in their hand. I wish I had had a resource that explained the trauma, told me what to expect in the therapeutic process, and then helped me walk through all of those phases of anger. And so, both based on my personal healing, what I do professionally, and of course, working with a lot of colleagues, I think it's just so important.
So it is. That's interesting. You experienced it and then looked for resources and then found some, but created new resources through your own research and work. That's incredible.
Yeah. Who better to share those resources, Crystal? Congratulations on your personal health journey, recovery, and professionally what you're doing, and your 35 years of marriage. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right.
Celebrate.
I have Sarah's question.
Great.
Sarah says, I've been through betrayal trauma 13 years ago. I first want to say thank you so much for your resources. They will help so many people. One thing I struggled with was trying to forgive and heal too quickly because I didn't like how I was feeling. How would you counsel someone to take their time as they heal?
Sarah, that's so important. And I address forgiveness in the book as well. Oftentimes you are pushed to forgive too quickly. And then if you don't forgive, you're blamed for not progressing in the relationship because it's your fault that you can't forgive. Forgiveness is a process, and forgiveness is actually for you, not for the betrayer. It's to help you not to hold on to the resentment that will eat you alive, right? And destroy your mood and your happiness and your joy. So forgiveness is really for the betrayed partner. It's saying, I choose not to let what you did to hurt me continue to hurt me. It's saying, I choose to let go of the hope that the past can be different. It can't be, right? This has happened. It's part of my story. And if you feel pressured to forgive, you have to just have a voice for yourself. You just have to say, forgiveness is my choice and my journey. And, I will take the steps to do that. And I can talk to you about it when I do, but you should never be pressured to forgive. In fact, I, in the book, I even refer to it. Many of my colleagues will call it, and clients that I see will call it the F word, right? They refer to it as the F word, forgiveness, because it is used against them. It is weaponized against them. They're pushed to do it. And there's not that grace to let them work through all of what they have to work through. When the betrayer shares what's happened and it comes to light, it is really traumatic, but they've known all along. The betrayed partner is unfolding and learning, oh, this happened and this and this and that. There's so many things that unfold over time. And so the betrayed partner really needs grace. And Sarah, I'm so sorry for what you've had to experience. If I was here physically, I'd give you a hug. But yes, you have to have your voice for forgiveness, and it's your journey to take.
Wow.
Lovely.
Wow. This is just, I can't believe how great this has been, Dr. Hollenbeck. Thank you. You've given us an hour, I see, of your time. We're so very thankful for that. Thanks for joining us today. Hey, do us a favor and take a second to subscribe to our podcast and the Utah Marriage Commission YouTube channel at Utah Marriage Commission, where you can watch this and every episode of the show. Be sure to smash the like button, leave a comment, and share this episode with a friend. You can also follow and interact with us on Instagram at Stronger Marriage Life and Facebook at Stronger Marriage. So be sure to share with us which topics you loved or which guests we should have on the show next. If you want even more resources to improve your marriage or relationship connection, visit strongermarriage.org, where you'll find free workshops, e-courses, in-depth webinars, relationship surveys, and more. Each episode of Stronger Marriage Connection is hosted and sponsored by the Utah Marriage Commission at Utah State University. And finally, a big thanks to our producer, Rex Bolanos, and the team at Utah State University, and you, our audience. You make this show possible. The opinions, findings, conclusions, and recommendations expressed in this podcast do not necessarily reflect the views of the Utah Marriage Commission.